Hi all, welcome to RSET online tutorial. This is Unnikrishnan, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology. This is a small presentation for S2 students under KTU University 2019 regulation. Today we will be dealing with the subject Basics of Electrical and Electronics Engineering with course code EST 130. Today the topic of discussion is three-phase AC generation, which comes under part 1 electrical engineering. So now we'll be having a outline of course information sheet, in which you already know that in electrical we have three modules. Today we will be dealing with unit 3, generation of three-phase voltage and advantages of three-phase system. In the previous section of RSET online tutorials, you have gone through how to generate a single phase AC as well as how to draw the single phase AC voltage waveform and also the parts associated with a single phase AC generator. In today's section, we will be moving on to how to construct a three-phase AC generator. So before directly going into a three-phase AC generator or AC generation, we will be first seeing a brief overview of single-phase AC generator, and from that we will be moving on to a three-phase AC generator. So you can have a comparison between single-phase AC generation concept as well as the three-phase AC generation. So in the first figure, you can see that there is a permanent magnet, and in between the permanent magnets, you have a coil, and as per Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, there should be a relative motion between the coil and the field. So either the field should be moving or the coil should be moving. So in this case, actually the coil is moving in the anti-clockwise direction. So this figure shows with a permanent magnet. In the second figure, you can see we are using an electromagnet. What is an electromagnet? We are winding certain turns over a ferromagnetic material and we are giving a DC supply. So it creates a constant magnetic field which is shown using dotted lines. In between these dotted lines, you will be placing a rectangular coil and you will be cutting the field line by rotating the coil. So at the end of the coil, you can see two rings which are kept. So these rings are known as slip rings. One end of the coil is connected to one slip ring and the other end of the coil is connected to the second slip ring. Both the slip rings are connected using a brush. Actually this brush is a graphite or a carbon based material, and which is used for taking the power output. So this AC output will be a sinusoidal waveform, and it is shown in this graph. You can see a sinusoidal waveform. So the third figure gives you a very good picture of how we are generating a sinusoidal waveform. So this figure is the first position of the coil. So at this position of the coil, you are starting from 0. The second figure will give you like the winding is rotated 90 degree in anti-clockwise direction. So you reaches this point. Now again you turn another 90 and you will be reaching this position, third position. At that point you will be getting an voltage of 0 volt. Now again you will be continuing a rotation in the anti-clockwise direction and you will be reaching the fourth position. At this position you will be reaching the negative maximum. Now again you rotate a 90 degree, you will be reaching the first one. So again you will be reaching the zero of the waveform. So this is how when a coil is rotated in a constant magnetic field generates a single phase AC. Now what I am doing is like I'll be adding two more coils along this single coil. Why I am adding two more coils? So that I will be getting three coils, and in each coil I will be getting single phase ACs, and these three single phase ACs I can combine to get a three phase AC. So that is the basic concept. So you will be adding two more winding with the existing coil. So now we have kept three coils which are equally displaced each other. So we have coil A, coil B, coil C. Each coil have two endpoints, and in each endpoint we are connecting using a slip ring. So the endpoints of coil A will be A1, A2, endpoint of coil B will be B1, B2, and the endpoint of coil C will be C1, C2. So if you look from the end view from this side, then you can see that how the coils are placed with what angle. Actually coils between the two coils, you can see it makes an angle of 60 degree, next 60 degree, 60 degree, 60 degree, 60 degree, 60 degree. So from this figure, actually the first coil will be A coil, which is shown using this red. So this point will be A1, this point will be A2. Now the next coil will be B1, B2. So this point will be B1 and this point will be B2. Now the third coil is C coil. So this point will be C2 and this coil will be C1. So when you rotate, you can see that the points A1, B1, C1 will make an angle of 120 degree apart, and the points A2, B2, C2 will be making an angle of 120 degree apart. So what will be the voltage made between A1, A2? It will be marked as phase A voltage, and it is given as the first waveform. What will be the voltage between B1, B2? It is the second waveform. And what is the voltage between C1, C2? It is given as third waveform. From all these three waveforms, it is very clear that they are making certain phase differences between them. So while looking itself, can you say what is the phase difference between them? Actually they are making a phase difference of 120 degree apart. So how much angle between which waveform and which waveform is making 120, everything we will be seeing later. So for now, please understand that there is a phase difference between all the three waveforms. So now actually we have generated three separate waveforms. A1, A2 is generating first waveform, B1, B2 is generating second waveform, and C1, C2 is generating third waveform. Now actually in a three-phase AC generator, you require the bottom shown figure. This is the complete three-phase AC generation waveform which you need. So how you can obtain this type of waveform? For that we need to make certain necessary connection arrangements at the output of slip rings. So till now you have generated three separate waveforms. These are AC waveforms and these are sinusoidal waveforms, but the difference is that they all have a phase difference between them. Why this phase difference occurs? Because you know that the coils are placed at certain different angles. So they are cutting the magnetic field differently, and so depending on the cutting of the coil, the angle by which the coil cuts the magnetic field, the voltage will be generated. So depending on the position of the coil, the voltages will be having the phase difference. And also you have to understand that we are using 3 identical coils. So next topic we will be seeing what all arrangements you require to do out at the output terminal or the slip ring terminals in order to get the final 3-phase AC. So actually you can connect the output of these 6 slip rings in 2 manner. First one will be a star connected system and the second one will be a delta connected system. So please remember, we can connect the output of the slip ring in 2 format. First one is a star connection and second one is a delta connection. In this slide it is shown how to connect the output of the slip rings, of the 6 slip rings in star connected system. So how we are connecting? See, we are connecting the terminals A2, B2 and C2 together. And this common point we are taking it outside, and this will be the neutral. Actually it's not written here, you have to write this as neutral terminal, neutral, and it is represented by N. Now the terminal A1, B1 and C1 are taken outside and they form the phase wires, phase A, phase B, phase C. So how the coils are connected? Actually each end of the coils are connected together and that point is said to be neutral. So now how I can represent it in this figure 3. See, first coil, coil A, coil B, coil C are placed and the position of the coil A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, everything is given there. Which all are the common terminals you have connected? They are A2, C2 and B2. So this point, what is you have to mark? You have to mark it as neutral. The other point is A1, B1, C1. So A1 will be the phase A, phase B, phase C. Now can you compare this figure with this one? What is the difference? Actually the first figure has 6 slip rings and the next figure has only 3 slip rings. So how you can convert from the 6 slip rings into a 3 slip ring device? Because see, you have a common point between A2, B2 and C2. So these all are connected together and you are taking the output and you are marking it as neutral. So avoiding those 3 slip rings, you can achieve the same system or you can achieve the same voltage generation with 3 slip rings. So in practical we will be using a 3 slip ring arrangement in star connected system. So here actually the neutral, you will be taking all the one end of all the coils and you will be connecting it as a common point, and the other point of each coil will be connected to the 3 slip rings. So it will be generating phase A, phase B and phase C. So now we'll be moving and we'll be seeing how the waveform is generated. Waveform starts from first phase A, so we are taking it as the reference. So A will be starting from 0, it will be advancing 180 degree or pi, then it will be moving and it will be reaching 2 pi or 360 degree. So next coil, so this one will be A1, the next one will be B1. What is the angle made between A1 and B1? It is 120 degree. We have already said that A1, B1, B1, C1 are making 120 degree apart and A2, B2, C2 are making another 120 degree apart. while we have made the arrangement of the coils. So from 0 to next to 120, you will be getting the next waveform, that is the B phase waveform. From B, again another 120, you will be getting the C waveform. So this is how you will be drawing the three-phase AC waveform. Now, as we have said, we will be moving on to the second configuration, which is a delta connected system. How you can get the delta connected system is by connecting A2 with B1, B2 with C1 and C2 with A1 as shown in the figure. So you can see how we are connecting, and so we will be getting three joins. From each join we will be taking as phase A, phase B and phase C. So this system won't have a neutral point. So only three wires are coming out of the slip rings. So how you can represent it? Because see, you have coil A, coil B, coil C. Now you are creating a delta structure with all these coils, and how you have to connect? A1 should be connected to C1. See here, A1 is connected to C2. A1 should be connected to C2. Now B2 should be connected to C1. B2 should be connected to C1. Now A2 should be connected to B1. A2 should be connected to B1. So you will be getting three output phases. Now say, similar to the star connected system, we have made the same 6 slip ring arrangement into a 3 slip ring arrangement, and the same voltage we have here also. But only difference is that we don't have a neutral in delta connected system, whereas in a star connected system we have neutral. What is the difference between a star connected system and delta connected system? All these things we will be dealing with next presentation. So here we have generated the three-phase AC by two ways. One is a star connected system and second one is a delta connected system. Now this picture will give you some more clear idea how you have converted the 6 slip rings into 3 slip ring. So you can just go through it and you can compare yourself how we have reduced from 6 to 3. In this slide we will be seeing how you can represent the voltage as the function of time in equations. So in this figure you know that the A will be the point A1 and A dash is the A2 point. This point will be B1, this one will be the B2, this one will be the C1, this will be C2. So A1, B1, C1 are making an angle of 120 degree and B2, C2 and A2 are making an angle of 120 degree as shown in this figure. Now you are rotating it in clockwise direction. So if you take this x-axis as the reference and along x-axis we are starting the rotation of coil A. So while you start rotation, you can write the equation of A waveform, because see this coil A1, A2 will be generating the voltage from 0. See from this figure it is very clear that it is starting from 0. So what will be the equation? It will be Vm sin omega t. Now while the coil rotates, the next coil which cuts the x-axis is B coil. So the B will be advancing, this B point will be advancing and crossing the x-axis after 120 degree. So from where the B waveform should start, it should start not from 0, it should start away 120 degree away from 0, so it starts from 120. So how you will be writing the equation of this waveform? It is Vm sine omega t minus 120. So first A will be advancing, then behind that one B is coming. So B is displaced from A by 120 degree. So minus 120. Now the coil C, while coil C reaches this x-axis and it cuts off, what will be the angle advancing? So 120 plus another 120. So it makes 240. So how I can write the equation? So from 0 to 40 apart, I should start my C coil waveform. So equation will be Bm sine omega t minus 240. So see, first equation will be, see, Bm or Em you can write. So first equation will be Em sine omega t. Second equation will be Em sine omega t minus 120, because coil B is kept, or the point B1 is kept 120 degree apart from A1. The third coil C, what will be the EMF generated? Em sine omega t minus 240. Why it is minus 240? Because coil C1 is placed 120 plus another 120. So 240 degree apart from A1. So this is A1, B1, C1. Now this omega t minus 240, I can write it as omega t plus 120. Why? Can you please go through the figure and can identify why I have written like omega t plus 120? Because see, if you compare in the other direction, you can see that coil C is ahead of coil A by 120 degree. While you move in backward direction, actually where the coil C is kept is like 120 plus 120, so 240. That's why we were written it as minus 240. But on the other side, you will be reaching the coil C with 120 plus 120. So because coil C is advancing, or it is ahead of coil A if you move in this direction. So I can write it as omega t plus 120. So these two expressions are correct. Either I can write in coil C voltage as sine omega t plus 120, or I can write it as sine omega t minus 240. So this is how I will be writing the voltage as function of time. Now we will be seeing how to represent the voltage in phases. So in phasor means first waveform you will be drawing it as E dash, or you can write it as A1 A2. Now the second one is represented by B dash, or B1 B2. The third one is C1 C2. So I have already said that the coils A1, B1, C1 are placed 120 degree apart, and coils A2, B2, C2 are placed 120 degree apart. So actually these voltage phases will be also making 120 degree apart. Now how you can write the equation? See, Vm, which is maximum value, divided by root 2, which gives the RMS value, angle 0 A. So this is the reference. See, always you have to see that where we have marked with angle 0 degree, this will be taken as the reference. So now next one, which is the next one, this B, how much it is lagging? It is lagging by 120 degree behind. So Vm by root 2 angle minus 120. Now the C is, actually you can either write minus 240 or plus 120. Here I have written as plus 120. Vm by root 2 angle plus 120. This is the phasor representation. And why all the magnitude are Vm by 2 root 2 Vm by root 2 Vm by root 2? Because we are using 3 identical coils, and also here we are representing it by RMS values. So this is how we are representing the 3-phase AC voltage generated using phasor representation. Now, till now we were moving the coil. So in large generators, it is very difficult, or it will be a difficult task to rotate the coil. Instead of that, we will be rotating the field. So in this figure you can see that coils are kept stationary, and at the center of the coil you are rotating a magnet. North pole and south pole is shown. So this is a two-pole magnet. Actually, you know that the magnets won't exist with unipolar. It requires at least two poles. So this is a two-pole magnet, and this magnet will be rotated at the center. Then also you will be getting the same waveform. There is no difference, but the only difference is that instead of making field constant, in this case we are making field rotation and coil constant. So as per the Faraday's law, you know that there should be a relative motion between field as well as coil. Either you can move the coil, or you can make the coil stationary and move the field. So this is the second type by which you can generate the same 3-phase AC, by keeping coils stationary and making the field moving or rotating, so that it creates a time varying flux lines, and those time varying flux lines will be cutting the coil. So these constructions are the practical one which are used for high rated generators. This figure shows 3 coils which are placed 120 degree apart, and the middle point you will be having the field placed. So this is a two-pole rotor. So the center point will be set as rotor, and the outer structure is set as stator. And in the outer structure we are keeping all these 3 coils. So for you to understand, we have shown the coils outside. In practical case, these coils are kept in stator. So this coil will be wound, all these 3 coils will be wound over the stator, and they are electrically displaced by 120 degree. And in the center you have the rotor which is rotating. So in huge machines or high rated machines, generators, your field will be rotating. So in this figure, it is for you to understand, we have shown a two-pole rotor, and it is an electromagnet, and it is given a DC voltage. Actually, as the rotor is rotating, for giving the supply to a rotating structure, you require slip rings. So these slip rings are also provided for giving the rotor supply and making the rotor an electromagnet. And you will be using an additional motor. You will be rotating this system, this rotor. So while you rotate the rotor, it generates time varying magnetic field, and the coils are cut by those time varying magnetic field, and it generates an EMF, and this EMF will be the same one. So only difference is that instead of making the coil rotating, here we have made the field rotating. So this is two-pole structure. You can increase the number of poles, and in this figure it shows a 6-pole structure. So why you are increasing the pole, everything we will be seeing in the upcoming slides. So here also you can see that, see the representation. This is a single phase representation in which field is rotating, coil is stationary. And the second figure, it is of a 3-phase generation in which field is rotating and coil is stationary. Now let us see what you mean by phase sequence. Actually, phase sequence represent the order in which the voltages in different coil attains its maximum value. And also the phase sequence is much important in case of the determining the direction of rotation of motor. While you connect a motor, the phase sequence determines the direction of rotation, whether the motor should rotate in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So we have two phase sequence. First one is positive phase sequence and second one is negative phase sequence. And these two phase sequence we are achieving by rotating the same coil in two directions. One is clockwise direction and second one is anti-clockwise direction. So in positive phase sequence, you will be rotating the coil in anti-clockwise direction. So while you rotate in anti-clockwise direction, the voltage in coil, if you take the x-axis as reference and you are starting coil A along x-axis, then you can say that A coil voltage will be getting maximum at first, then coil B voltage will be getting maximum in positive direction, and the C coil voltage will be getting maximum thereafter. So the order at which the voltages in different coil attains its positive maximum determines the phase sequence. So what will be the phase sequence in this case? First coil A reaches positive maximum, then coil B voltage reaches maximum positive direction and C. So the phase sequence will be A, B, C. Now the equation will be first equation of A phase. A is taken as reference. So Vm sin omega t, then phase B which is Vm sin omega t minus 120, and the last one C phase, it is Em sin omega t minus 240 or plus 120. We have already seen why I am writing it as plus 120 in C phase, and also it can be written as minus 240. Now in negative sequence, I am interchanging the direction of rotation. In this case, I am in negative phase sequence, I am rotating the coil in clockwise direction. So you are starting with x-axis as reference, and along the reference you have the coil A while you are starting the rotation. So while you rotate, after A which will advance? So after A, then C will be crossing the x-axis. So after A reaches maximum positive voltage, then C will be getting to maximum positive voltage, thereafter B. So the phase sequence will be A, C, B. So how you can write the equation? First equation will be of E, A dash, which is given by Vm sin omega t. Now next phase is C. So C equation will be Vm sin omega t minus 120. So in positive phase sequence, what is the different phase? In positive phase sequence, B coil voltage was minus 120, whereas in negative sequence, C coil voltage is minus 120 in equation. And you can also see that in positive phase sequence and negative phase sequence, actually the out of the three equations of the phase voltages, the bottom two equations are interchanged. Now in this figure, actually we have the same direction of rotation in anti-clockwise direction, but we are getting two different phase sequence. First one is ABC phase sequence and second one is ACB. So in first one, actually you are rotating in clockwise direction, as we have already explained, we will be getting ABC. Now in second case, what we have done is like the output of the slip rings are arranged in such a manner that after A phase, after the coil A reaches maximum positive, then the coil C will be getting to maximum voltage in positive direction. So we are actually interchanging the connection at the output of slip rings, or you can interchange the position of coil B and coil C manually also. So either you can interchange the output connection at the slip ring, how you were already connecting it in star and delta, right? So in that connection you can interchange the position of C and B connection, or you can manually interchange the position of coils also. Two way you can interchange the phase sequence. So here the direction of rotation is same, anti-clockwise, but you are getting phase sequence as difference because of interchanging the coil position or interchanging the connection. Now we'll be getting into some of the proof which we require to do. So first one, you have to prove that the sum of the three EMF at any instant is 0. So this is the property of a three-phase AC generation. Like at any instant, the sum of the total three-phase EMF will be 0. So first one, you will be writing like, so total EMF will be EMF in phase A plus phase B plus phase C. So EA plus EB plus EC. What is EA? EM sin omega t. What is EB? Next one EM sin omega t minus 120. Next one will be minus 240. So when you add all these things, you will be finally getting it as 0. So you have proved it. Now in another method, can you prove the same thing? So in next one, what I will be doing in this waveform is that by using this waveform, first one we were using equation, and second one we will be proving the same thing using waveform. So you have placed a scale, and the scale can be moved along perpendicular to x-axis. So while you keep a scale at this point, the LP and PN and PH are marked as per the figure. Now can you find the total arithmetic sum? You can just take the distance or the voltage. So LP minus, so here you can write PL. Okay, PL minus plus minus of PN minus NH. So altogether you will be seeing that it will be 0. At any point you can take, you can also draw a straight line at any of the point along the waveform, and you just take the arithmetic sum. While you take the positive half, you have to take it in positive, and negative you have to subtract, that's all. So you will be always saying that it will be 0. Now using complex numbers or complex algebra, can you prove the same thing? So in this one, actually you will be writing the voltage as angle 0, E angle 0, E is the voltage, right? Maximum value E angle minus 120, angle minus 240. Now convert this polar form into rectangular form, you will be getting these things. Now add EA, EB, EC. In rectangular form you have to convert, right, for adding. So you will be getting 0. Now next method, fifth method, this one is the fifth one. You will be taking the resultant of any two. Here we have taken the resultant of EA and EB. Now the resultant is represented as ER. This one is ER. Now you can see that this ER is equal and opposite to EC, which means that the total EC plus ER will be 0. So this figure is just for showing the application of three-phase AC generation as well as single-phase AC generation. So in household purpose, we will be using a star-connected system only. You require a neutral, because see in single-phase loads you will be lighting a lamp. It requires one phase and a neutral, and also your mobile phone chargers, it requires one phase and a neutral. But in certain cases, like certain pumps or three-phase motors, when you are using, you require three phases RYB. In that case, you will be using RYB. And in normal case, in household purposes, you can directly use any of the phases and a neutral. So for showing an application, I was just having this slide. Let's move on to the advantage of using three-phase power over single-phase power. So first point is that the three-phase generators or motors are much efficient than that of single-phase motors or generators. Actually, you know that both motors as well as generators have the physical structure same, only the different is in its operation. So the size of a three-phase generator or a motor for this same frame size or for same power rated is much smaller when compared with a single phase generation or a generator or a motor. Now the second point is that in three-phase power, actually you know that power is generated in three-phase in generating stations. So there you require a three-phase generator, and also by using three-phase generators you can easily operate them in synchronism when you operate it in parallel. Now the next point is, in transmission line, for transmitting the same amount of power you require lesser material while you use three-phase system. And the next one is that the torque generated in a three-phase motors are uniform one when you compare with a single-phase motors. And the last one is that a three-phase motor is always self-starting, because for self-starting you require at least two phases or two flex lines. So whereas a single phase motor is not at all self-starting and you require certain starting arrangements. So that is another advantage of three phase over single phase. So that's all for today's presentation. I think all of you have enjoyed the presentation. Please go through the topic and understand well and study well for your exam. So that's all for today's presentation. Have a nice day. Bye bye.